in 2011.
So we got D here from Beenox, and we're talking a little bit about Spider-Man Edge of Time. And for the very first time, you're going to see a live demo of it here right on our stage. D, thanks so much for joining us. And first and foremost, talk a little bit about this project and what you're hoping to bring to Spider-Man fans.
Well, the Spider-Man Edge of Time is actually the second Spider-Man project that we've been doing at Beenox. We did Shattered Dimension. It was really well received. And now we want to bring something new, something fresh again to the Spider-Man license. So in Spider-Man Edge of Time, we're letting the player play the Amazing Spider-Man in present day, as well as the Spider-Man 2099 in the year 2099. They have to work together across time in order to to prevent a catastrophic event from happening, the actual death of the Amazing Spider-Man. Right. So we also have there's an evil mastermind called Sloan, Walker Sloan, that has actually traveled back in time and to start Alchemax, the evil corporation Alchemax, years before it was supposed to start, and that created a kind of a rift in the timeline that you have to prevent. So the two Spider-Men are actually going to be able to communicate together and work together to restore the timeline to where it's supposed to be.
And there's some cause and effect gameplay that takes place within that, correct?
Oh, definitely. The entire narrative actually has been we went directly to Peter David, which is the co-creator of Spider-Man 2099, and we wanted him to craft a really deep story, really cool, with new villains and everything, and to support that narrative and that link between the characters. That's why we came up with that cause and effect gameplay. So when as Amazing, you have those key moments where you can actually do something, and there's a direct impact in the Spider-Man 2099 world.
Is this a picture-in-picture of this in action right now? Is this how it unfolds?
That's one of those. That's a moment where the two Spider-Men will communicate. In that particular sequence, right now you have seen Anti-Venom, which makes its first appearance in a Spider-Man video game that you're actually chasing through the level. So you can see that 2099 appeared for a brief moment while he was talking to Peter Parker or the Amazing Spider-Man. As you can see, right now there's a bunch of new abilities that we've put in the game. So the Hypersense that you've just seen is one of them, where you can go through lasers and dodge all sorts of things. So, and we've developed tons of new combat improvement around that abilities.
Obviously, key to any Spider-Man video game is going to be your interaction with the enemy. So talk a little bit about who we might see in the game.
Well, you might see, of course, Anti-Venom.
Right. We had that trailer on GameTrailers.com.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's very cool. That's something that when we were working in Shattered Dimension, that was one villain that we really wanted to dig deep into and present to the fan in a new way. As fans will know, it's Anti-Venom is actually Eddie Brock, which was Venom before, and now is kind of has been reformed to be Anti-Venom, like a good guy that can actually cure people. And
right. I saw a lot of comments. They said, I thought he was a good guy. He's a bad guy. He's a good guy. What is he?
He is a good guy, actually. But in our story, Walker Sloan, that evil mastermind, is actually controlling Anti-Venom through a chip that has been inserted in his head. So he can he becomes this puppet, kind of the puppet master, because Anti-Venom, with his power, can actually cure Spider-Man and transform him into basically a human being and removing all Spider-Man-ness into him. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned before a corporation that was a part of this whole grand scheme. Is this where we're at right now, a part of a facility regarding that corporation, or where is this demo taking place in?
Well, right now, if you look, right now this is one of those cause and effect moments. It's in Alchemax, in that evil corporation, and right now you have Miguel struggling in a radioactive room that was all right, but unfortunately Anti-Venom blew up the entire corridor, leading to a series of events of the fire going through the corridor and breaking those radioactive tanks. So you have to go and race through the corridor to put those tanks in a safe place. And as you can see, as you progress down the corridor, the tanks get fixed in the 29 universe, and eventually you're able to save Miguel O'Hara from a certain death and continue your quest.
Obviously, the game is looking very action-oriented. It's very fast and fluid. Talk a little bit about some of the things that you've learned from the previous game that you want to apply to this title in terms of gameplay mechanics.
Gameplay mechanics. Well, we wanted the two Spider-Men to work together much more than for example, in Shared Dimension, they were all in their own separate dimensions. Now the timeline are really linked. They work together. We have all those moments, those cause and effect moments, as you can see, but also a bunch of stuff, unexpected consequences as well. So you can walk into a room, and all of a sudden the room's going to shift before your eyes. So, like you were running, a wall will appear, and then all of a sudden you have to turn left instead of turning right, kind of a Matrix style approach. There's also moments where you walk in a room that you think is quiet, feels good, everything's all right, but actually the Amazing do something in the past, and it cranks up the security in the future. So all of a sudden turrets appear, lasers, and you have to fight a bunch of enemies. So this has a big impact in the game, in the environment, but also we have expanded the combat a lot to go and be in line with that kind of timeline distortion feeling.
We're seeing 2099 now, and two distinct gameplay styles, correct? You want to really make them feel like very distinct.
Oh, very, very distinct. So right now you're seeing 2099 that is much more based on close combat. You can see right now he's using is a new ability new to this game, which we call an accelerated decoy, which is a representation on how fast Spider-Man 29 can be, and can almost be in two different places at the same time. So you can use this accelerated decoy. Right now you have one of those key moments where a wall appeared just right in front of you. But those new combat abilities allow you to do all sorts of stuff. So you can, for example, if enemies comes at you with missiles and guns and stuff, you can use that decoy so that they will fire where you were. But you can also use it and project your decoy to enemies. And the decoy will throw the enemies back at you so that you can chain more combos to it. So that's really, really cool. We have one of those ability is actually a time flux moment where you can actually freeze all the enemies right into place. So we have this. So we have all this in a position to Amazing Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. So Amazing Spider-Man, we went with more web-based combat. Right. So it's heavily web-based. You can create all sorts of things.
So more ranged in a way.
Exactly, right. Exactly. Much more ranged approach, and also we also put much more importance in that game on the web shots. So you can do all sorts of cool stuff with web shots, stick enemies to walls, prevent enemies that have guns to shoot at you. So we've done a lot of stuff with the web shot in that game, as opposed to, for example, Shared Dimensions, where we played it a bit less.
I think one of the big things with any Spider-Man game is putting the player into the suit of Spider-Man and making them feel like this iconic superhero. How did you design the levels and the environments to help Spider-Man in either state traverse them in a way that would make the player truly feel like Spider-Man?
That's actually an excellent question. When we designed the game at the very beginning, you see one of those time flux moments. But when we designed the game, we always ask ourselves, what's the Spider-Man DNA? And Spider-Man DNA is all about wall crawling, web swinging, great combat, acrobatics. So we really design all the levels around that. So we have moments in the corridors that we've seen a bit earlier. It's really focused on web swinging around and really being like quick and agile through this part of the level. Other moments we're really focusing on the wall crawling abilities of the characters to really make the player feel a Spider-Man in the end.
Obviously, I think we're taking a look at a climactic cutscene here that leads up to a fight. Tell us what this is.
Oh yeah, that's one of the key moments in our story where the Amazing Spider-Man faces off Anti-Venom, Eddie Brock. So we have this a really cool scene and between the two characters that talk to each other, and then we have the evil mastermind that is revealed to the player.
Let's take a look for a second.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I always trust people who are trying to kill me. So you're the head lunatic. Well, we haven't been properly introduced. I'm the guy who's gonna stop your plans.
Good luck with that. Anti-Venom, finish him.
Can't!
Impressive resistance, but activating all the control chips, releasing your more bestial side, should do the trick.
So one of the in this sequence, that's in the portal room. This portal is actually the one that 2099 got stuck in, and that's how they travel through time. So it's one of those key moments where you're finally facing Eddie Brock, and you're gonna have a hard time.
Obviously, villains, like we talked about before, are going to play a key role, and we can expect, I'm sure, multiple boss fights throughout the game. Are they all kind of framed up in this type of way?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of additional surprises that we've not yet revealed in the plot. We have additional villains, some known ones, some that have never been seen before, some that we've created for a game. So there's a lot of stuff that we still have to show to players that they can look forward to.
Excellent. Well, I think that while we watch this fight unfold, we're going to go to Justine to check out a couple of questions from our audience via Twitter and Facebook. Justine, what do you got?
Nathaniel A. on Facebook is asking if the game is going to tie in with previous games at all.
The game actually, Edge of Time, is really its own story. It's not meant to be tied to any of the other Spider-Man games. When we took Peter David, the co-creator of 2099, to craft our story, we really wanted to have a very deep storyline. So we locked himself in a conference room with our creative director, and basically we had to come up with something that would be one of the best Spider-Man story ever told in a video game. So no, it's not tied to any other Spider-Man game.
How close do you guys work with Marvel on the stories?
When we work with Marvel in many ways, actually, the first thing we always want to really stay true to the character, and to the Marvel universe. So that's why we went with Peter Davies, as I said, a huge veteran in the Marvel universe. So he really helped us craft that story that would be true to the character, and of course, Marvel is involved directly in the process where they've been approving what we are doing. We're actually killing Spider-Man in our game, so that's something that Marvel would have wanted to hear about, you know. So they're involved in that process, and they give us all sort of great suggestions, some of which are actually in the game. So.
Let's keep answering those questions on Twitter.
All right, we have one more from Twitter from Raffle Chopper B. And they said they're watching this live, and they may have missed it, but they saw a Spider-Man character pop up in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. What was that?
That's one of those moments where the two Spider-Men are actually talking to each other, because we have developed a system. All our story has been developed as kind of two parallel storylines. So there's always the two Spider-Men are actually always moving forward. There's this sense of urgency, and we've really developed something that's awesome. Actually, you can play the entire game with almost no loading screen from beginning to the end. So it's really a continuous experience. And those moments where you see the character in the screen, that's when you get to see where the other character is at in his storyline, what he's saying to you. So he might be, sometimes he's just going to be hanging next to a door looking for his path and asking you for direction. Other time he's going to be in the middle of a fight. Other time he's going to be in really deep trouble, and you're going to have to help him. So that's those kind of moments where you get a glimpse of what the other character are, and at the when you're done playing it with a character, you have this moment where you see in a picture-in-picture what the other Spider-Man is doing, and the picture-in-picture basically takes over the entire screen, and you immediately get to play the other Spider-Man. So I always push this sense of urgency because Spider-Man's going to die.
Spider-Man is going to die. Thanks so much for your questions. We appreciate that, Justin. We appreciate your time, Dee,
Thank
as
you.
well.